There are a few reasons why you can't drive your race car on the street. I'm gonna tell you all 5 things in depth. So if you come here closer, you can see these lights are actually decals. And if you spin around here, you're gonna see another race car. You gotta take a look at the actual lights that are ripped out of here for airflow. So you don't have any headlights, you don't have any blinkers. The actual Department of Transportation, it does require blinkers. There is an exception for very antique cars. However, this race car wasn't gonna meet the antique model because it's a 2023, okay? So you get the idea. There are blinkers in the back, but again, that just won't pass the regulations. Let's talk about the second reason. There's actually gonna be a roll cage by your head. So if you poke your head in there, I'll come through the other side. Modern street cars, they don't have a roll cage. They actually have the structure in the door of the car. So these are like paper light. Race car doors are paper light because the entire structure is the roll cage. Now, the reason why they don't have roll cages in street cars, because they are safer. Your head would crack open on this if you actually got into an accident, right? So you'd have to wear a helmet in order to drive a car with a roll cage. Now, I know some of you nerds out there would love to drive a race car to the grocery store with a helmet, but I'm just telling you, it is not a practical thing for your only vehicle, okay? So we're just gonna go ahead with it and say, that's the reason why you wouldn't wanna drive your race car on the street. The third thing was the tires. So let's take a look at the tires. We've actually got slick tires on a race car. You might have noticed on your street car, you've got little tread marks. Now the treads, a lot of people think they make you go faster, but that's not true. The more rubber touching the ground makes you go faster. The treads are only there for whenever there's wet. They can evacuate the water, which does give you more traction when it's wet. However, a race car using race slicks, you're actually not legally allowed to use race slicks on the street, first of all. But let's say that you did. There's actually no grooves at all for if there was rain. And this is actually a step down from a slick, but you get the idea where there's not really any treads at all right? So I'll tell you what happened in 60-degree weather, which is very common. I mean, San Diego and pretty much any Midwest climate definitely gets below 60 degrees. All right, I was at Road Atlanta and I actually hit a shift. The shift impact just upset the back wheels enough. It flipped the car and did a 180, and I was lucky I didn't hit the barricade, all right? So I even saw other people do it ahead of me that cold morning, and I said, I'm gonna go slow. But the thing was, I had revved it all the way up, to 6,000 RPM, and that shift is a big impact. And so little things can upset the slicks when you are on cold slicks. And it's very hard to fully heat them up going in a straight line on the highway going 60 miles an hour. The way that you really put energy into a slick is from turning, and you just don't turn fast enough on the street because the highway and street system is designed so that you have nowhere near the edge of grip, when you're actually turning on public roads. And so I believe the fourth reason would be because it is 60 millimeters off the ground. So come take a look at here. It's actually quite a bit lower. It makes my Ferrari 458 street car, which is unmodified. It looks like it's 4-wheel drive, honestly, compared to this car. So you could really just tell how low that is. Any kind of curb, any type of pothole, any type of ramp up into a downtown building, you're literally gonna rip this fiberglass nose off the front. And this fiberglass bumper is about $2,500, but then it's actually very detailed if you're gonna rewrap it, right? So it's got a lot of like nooks and crannies, and plus you need to have the labor to put this thing back on. Now, I am lucky I've got a full-time mechanic, Susan, she's badass, but it's taken away from time that she could be spending on any of the other, 5 race cars that we've got. We got 2 V6 Ginettas, 2 V8 Ginettas, and we've got 2 Miatas. We don't want to create work for her. We want her to be proactive with the cars and be able to spend that time doing oil changes. Perfect segue. You've got to rebuild this motor every 100 hours, and you've also got to replace the half shaft axles every 30 hours. A half shaft axle, I believe it might be $2,500 per side. They've got a ball bearing joint that connects to the hub, and then that actually connects into the differential. And so those are gonna be something you have to replace on an hourly basis. If you don't, I'll say this, I was going out for practice, it'd been about 38 hours, we pushed it a little bit, and then all of a sudden the engine just lost all power. You could hear the engine, but the car wasn't going nowhere. What happened was one of the axles actually broke in half. And that's what happens whenever you do that, is it then has a diff, right? So it's gonna put the power to the side that broke, and the side that's connected won't have any power at all. So you'll be stranded on track, you have to be pulled in. So everything is based in hours on the race car. And so if you drive it on the street, I mean, you're lighting the money on fire for no reason. And as well, safely, you can't stick your hand out the window here. Somebody said that earlier. They're like, well, if there's no blinker, you do a hand signal. Well, actually can't because it's a fixed window car. All right, so again, only antique cars can have a pass to not have a blinker, but this is not an antique, it's 2023. So those are the 5 reasons why these are tools for the track and not something that you typically go around and get groceries with, which I know a lot of you guys want to do. And I mean, maybe a little bit of me would like to do that sometimes too, but I'm just telling you, it would just creates too much of a hassle. So come out to the track. We're at Harris Hill Raceway today, or find a local track near you. I think the best thing to do is to come and see what's going on. People will likely be very friendly and welcoming and kind of show you the ropes. You guys, this is Marlene. She competes here. Also, she does taxes for race car drivers, specifically Van Sickle Accountants. Is that the website?
Van Sickle CPA.
Van Sickle CPA, that's right. Did you race today?
I did.
How did you do?
I came first in my class, the morning race, second in second race.
Oh, congratulations, that's awesome. It's gotta feel good.
How about you?
I had some car trouble. We didn't have sway bars, so I was gonna show him how the scoring works actually, as we're making a little video. So before the event today, I actually was first place with 154 points and 114 points. So we had 2 races today. So this is the printout of how it looks whenever we're done. So you can see right here, finished 6th place. So yeah, I was just trying to get as further along as possible to get as most points as possible, since I wasn't, it wasn't in the card. Didn't have the card today to be able to get first place. I did want to ask you one last question. Why is it important to have a CPA that specializes in race car driving if you're a driver that earns money?
Because you want to make sure that you claim all the income that you have to claim, but also claim all the deductions you can claim.
Ooh. We'll leave that one there. If you guys have more questions, check out Van Sickle CPAs. We'll put the link in the bio. Hopefully you guys are able to come out, whether that's Harris Hill or maybe a club, if you're lucky, near you, to come join a really great community like this.